Persona 4 is one of the most beloved games of all time. But did you know game bad actually? But every once in a while I peek into the alternate reality where this game is actually good. Not only is the antagonist super compelling, but two of the party members are two of my favorites just in general. And even before the late game, the setting is unmatched. But the thing is, for me, while the destination is great, the journey sucks. So it's with a heavy heart that I officially declare, game you like bad actually. Okay, we're gonna YouTuber plot recap, but it'll be quick, trust me. You move to Inaba with an uncle you don't really know who is a detective, as well as his daughter, Nanako. Unfortunately, after your arrival, almost directly after in fact, two murders happen. One hitting close to home for Yosuke, one of your new friends that you basically spawned in this town with. Along with another complimentary friend in Chie, they try to figure out why these murders are happening that are forewarned on a supernatural program called the Midnight Channel, and using the power of Persona, which they obtain by accepting their own faults, they can enter TV sets. Well, the main character attempts to avoid his uncle Dojima's suspicion, with his incompetent partner Adachi spilling the beans on what's really going on with the police. Now that we're on the ground floor with this, it's not really a bad premise. The mystery isn't really the problem for me, and that has been reinforced after playing through it again. Seeing the foreshadowing that not only takes place in cutscenes, but also throughout the game world that you can just interact with is really cool. Not only that, the comparisons the dungeons make in Persona 4 are a bit more subtle, and while it may not seem it, there is depth to it. For example, Yukiko, the third victim and the first you can actually rescue, wants to leave the tiny town of Inaba, but feels powerless to do so. So this creates a castle, which not only can be interpreted as a damsel in distress scenario, but since she is constantly distant with others, you could also see it as a risky but necessary raid on a defensively positioned target in order to even fucking maneuver around and reach her. I think that's neat. I think that's cool. Shame about all the other aspects of the TV world. Combat is probably the least intriguing part of my criticism, so I'll just say, I think combat sucks here. Yeah, I don't know if I have much more to say. The moves are uninteresting, there's not a lot of affinities, meaning there's not a lot of Pokemon types. Now, Persona 3 had this problem, to an extent, but sectioning off physical damage to 3 different affinities did a lot to make sure the game wasn't just a cakewalk defensively and mind-numbingly boring offensively. And to be clear, the reward for hitting an enemy's weak point is massive. You could do a brain dead spread move. Sure, it doesn't hit everybody super hard, but if one guy goes down, you can just do it again and probably win the fight. My problem isn't that it's easy per se, and keep in mind I'm running this on New Game Plus, so I have some added bonuses. At the end of the day, all Personas are pretty damn easy. It's just a matter of I don't have fun while I'm going through this one. And a big part of the problem is how big the dungeon floors are. It's randomized, sure, just like Persona 3, but quick floors in Persona 3 that give you the sense of progression could be, if you're lucky, maybe 5 seconds. In Persona 4, quick floors are maybe like 4 minutes. I don't have an exact number, but the point is progression is much slower and there's not as much to progress. And again, since it's Persona and you need to scout for enemy weaknesses, you can just die. Doesn't even necessarily mean you did anything wrong. You could just be an ice-pilled Bufu cell who gets slammed with fire. Oops, die? And in my opinion, that's not really difficult. That's just unlucky. And even if it was difficult, that's not the point here. And a lot of people misinterpreted that when I talked about my SMT3 experience. The point is, do I find things fun in this engine? And the answer is mostly no. Most people don't play Persona to have personas though. They do it for the social sim stuff, story, and characters, which is, you know, I don't fucking get it here. Depending on how much you want to debate things, Persona 4 Golden has 9 or 10 exclusive characters and social links. This is predicated on how much you personally believe Marie contributes to the overall plot, but she doesn't, so it's 10. Now, I don't want to, and I'm not going to yap about each one in supreme detail because I am not the nostalgia critic of gaming, so please stop calling me that. Instead, I just want to say, a lot of these just feel like wasted time, man. Persona is a game with a definite and set endpoint. It runs off a calendar system like a social sim. And during the day, you can either choose to explore the TV world or participate in social activities that can boost your persona during the bad times. Even if they weren't necessary for a casual run through, like, what else are you gonna do? They are the main activities that take up time and you got a full year to play through, so have fun. One small problem. They aren't fun. Womp womp. Some of them just dilly-dally with the tower, notably one of the last social links you're likely to obtain, not really having anything happen until rank 9 out of 10. If I'm spending so much time with characters, I want to enjoy them, like them, or find them compelling in some way. And here, I don't care about the human manifestation of actually. Totaling out all the social links, there's only 7 that I find to be solid. And no, the fox doesn't count, he's just a dog. 3 are alright, with the character herself being one of my faves, and I just don't care about anyone else. Now I get it, 7 links that are good and 3 that are alright seems like good enough for a Persona game. But the simple truth of it is, it isn't. Not really anyways, and the characters that I actually like that I'll see outside of these social links, there's only 5 of them. And 3 aren't even in the main party. For the rest of these friend opportunities, they can be split into 3 categories. Either main party people, which I already don't care about, and believe it or not, seeing more people that I just do not care about is only what one doctor ordered. But he's kind of a dipshit. And a few can be put in this other circle where it's like, they are telling me about their problems before telling me why I should really care about the character. Look, I'm an empathetic person, but if I just want to do my job and you start telling me you hate your adopted son, I'm gonna point out you're 10 years my senior at some point. Marie is also like this, and I know I hate to see a mean girl winning, but I don't because I like Ai's character, who is a mean girl. Marie sucks, and to me these instances don't feel like you're solving problems. It feels like you're being paid to be whined to. Really, the last Venn diagram fun bubble is way more tragic and needs to be talked about. Okay, in reality there's only one link in this last circle. The devil. She fucking sucks. Not in a way that's like, they should have scrapped it all and done something else entirely, because what they built in the first few encounters was great. The devil details the experience of working with a threatening and uncomfortable superior. That's an excellent base, 0 notes, and would do well with the game's theme of forcing yourself to reach out to uncomfortable truths. No, really, I want to emphasize how much of a fucking joke this is. After harassing a high schooler for however long, she says, "I'm gonna be a better person. Okay, bye." It really is a shame because the theme of tarot cards that runs throughout the Persona series is really present in these social links, but I just don't care about the actual story they're telling. And I don't think this is a case of me being mad online because I predicted wrong. Case in point, Kanji is bi. If you do not think he's bi, you either don't know what that means, or you're a coward who thinks the character matters before his sexuality. When, much like in real life, their sexuality and the social repercussions of expressing it can be a huge part of the character in question. Also, to get this common misconception out of the way, Naoto wasn't gaslit into not being trans, and was in fact just echoing a theme from Mitsuru in Persona 3 that nobody really objected to. I'm sorry I have to get this political in parts of the game that are, objectively political. I somewhat agree with cowards though, because even if a pretty major part of their characters were missing, I would probably still like Kanji and Naoto, as instead of the gacha game anime flaws written in the equation, I'm very X, but why here actually helps explain the reason for why they are very X. Now I wanted to preface everything with that, so let's actually start to describe them. Kanji acts like a mean guy because he'd rather be judged for something he is than something he isn't. He likes feminine hobbies, which causes rejection from peers interested in said hobby. This leads him to question if he likes girls at all. And his own inbuilt biases causes the insecurity of his sexuality to look like this. Yeah, sure, that makes sense. On the other hand, Naoto disguises herself as a man, as otherwise she's afraid for being judged for superficial things rather than her own ability and character. And man, you're lying to yourself if you think real life don't always be doing that. People, and admittedly I initially interpreted this as, oh, she wants to be a guy. Liking masculine aesthetics doesn't really mean you're a guy, it's not that simple. And also, to get into it, Kanji's implied relationship and attraction to Naoto doesn't mean he's not bi. How could you read this line any other fucking way? Naoto being talked out of being trans is something that I think steps out of the realm of reality and into the realm of just actually being wrong. And Jesus Christ, she forgoes some of her voice adjustments she made when she becomes more comfortable with her identity.
I didn't keep you waiting, I hope.
Everything makes sense now.
Well then, until we meet again.
I can't say for sure until I gather more concrete evidence.
Listen, a big social problem with gender in general is acceptance. Look in the comments of any art of Bridget Guilty Gear, and you'll want to fucking die. What I read this as is once she realizes she'll be accepted, she drops what isn't her and sticks to what is. Which part of it is dressing like a guy, and that's fine. But regardless, I don't think I'm being wishy-washy by saying I understand these complaints that I think are obviously wrong if you give the game a bit of credit. Because it's this game. It's really hard for me to root for Yosuke, man. Until like the month of October, he's just saying shit about Kanji to his face. Sure, not consistently after a while, but it is a pattern. And to me, it's annoying because the homophobia of this game is described often as that scene, which yeah, that scene sucks.
Okay.
Are you really...
Am I really what?
What I mean is... Are we gonna be safe alone with you?
But there's just so much more of it that I forgot about that I feel has been overlooked and ignored as to just be about that scene. And look, I know you can cheer for or be entertained by characters with major flaws, and I do often. My issue is the light it's portrayed in a lot of the time, which is mostly something people around him just accept as, there he goes again. I don't think it's evil or even objective or whatever, just very, very strange. And yes, I know about the cut romance you could have potentially had with Yosuke, but since that is cut from the final product, in my eyes, him being gay isn't as canon as just him saying weird shit. To cycle through the rest of the party, I feel there's a X factor that disconnects me from Rise and Chie. I don't get it, calling them bland would be incorrect, I just don't connect to them. Oops. Yukiko, however, I just don't fucking get. She feels hella bland to me. I don't really have much more to say about her, she's just boring. Finally, Teddy fucking sucks, flat out. He isn't just cringe to me, I think he ruined some of the tone of the game. This piece of dialogue from Rise's dungeon absolutely exemplifies this to me, whereas Rise is hearing something incredibly damaging to her well-being, Teddy is just over here like, I'm here for CP. He sucks! And I don't think this is me misunderstanding anything. I think this game can approach serious subjects in ways that are insensitive but played off comedically. That's in the intro. I'm not stupid. But if they wanted to do that, I think the anime, which admittedly I've only seen clips of, approaches it in a much better way. Anyways, back on track, this guy fucking sucks. I'd go as far to say he's the worst character in all of Persona. While you could say one-off or minor characters are worse, you know it's gonna be bad when you see them. So it's fine, you can brace yourself. Teddy is always there, and he's a ticking time bomb of saying the worst thing you've ever heard. And it sucks that he seemingly wants to forcibly drag me away and out of the experience because it does take a while to get to the good part. Hey, are you scared of this word? Spoilers? Oh god, I'm so sorry, I'm a bit afraid myself. But if you are afraid of it, then please click off and play the game, Now, a lot of people love this experience, obviously. I just wanted to see what they did. And for moments, I saw it. Knowing the solutions to the mystery and the twists along the way, the game is insanely enhanced by just living a daily life and seeing the crazy, yet very innocuous foreshadowing. Like this guy, and this guy, and this. But, well, look. The good part I saw was at the part I already thought was pretty damn good. The 50 plus hours in part. It didn't really make my experience in the now much better. And I tried. I really tried. Every social link completed. Did I spend time with characters I thought I might have misplaced? Oh, absolutely. The side quests? Well, I didn't feel anything after the first 25, but fuck it, I did all 69 anyways. It's really frustrating that the good part that I thought I missed only served me to get more hyped for the part that I already knew was good. It did nothing for me in the moment. And that fucking bugs me because clearly this isn't made for me. But the good part? Yeah, guy, it's pretty dang swell. Basically, after saving a bunch of guys that get added to your team, the major red herring of Namatame comes to fruition. Before this, you can see him around town talking to himself, depressed and disturbed, which you can miss entirely if you don't pace yourself throughout the game, which is really cool, I think. His next target, as revealed on the Midnight Channel, is your little cousin Nanako, who along with Dojima are very compelling supporting characters, which is why I didn't cover them much. I didn't really have anything to add. Nanako's outward innocence hides a deep and tortured child. Yeah, no shit. After Heaven, the most ingenious dungeon in the game, does Heaven represent Nanako's desire to be with her dead mom, or Namatame's savior complex? Whoa. Adachi is unmasked as the killer, and in a complicated scheme, Namatame was set up to both continue the chaos and take the fall. A few months after the murders, and we're skipping this because gotta remain positive, new year, new gamer. The gang figures out something still fishy with this whole scenario, and they find out it's a random gas station attendant you met forcibly once at the start of the game, which sounds really stupid. But just like with Namatame, if you pay attention to the world around you, it's still kind of an asshole, but at the same time it's pretty fucking cool. They appear at the start of the game, give you your powers unknowingly and disappear, but reappear only when raining, when they say increasingly weird shit. I think that's cool, but I understand people who are like, this is silly. Anyways, you killed the guy, win the day, and ask yourself, or me rather, because I'm a world famous influencer, how could this be the worst one? The last 15 hours are incredible. The main issue is, I wish I could say the same about the first 50 hours. I don't want this to be just a repeat of criticisms I've told you throughout the video, but I want to present how I think you should frame it in your mind. First off, worst one does not mean it's bad. Something could be the worst $20 I've ever earned, but 20 bucks is 20 bucks. Secondly, the context of which I played these games is important. I played the PSP remake of Persona 1 on emulator, and I was not afraid to use save states while negotiating because this is just horseshit. But because I use save states pretty willingly, that wasn't really a huge issue for me. So make of that what you will. I can only say what I think of the experience I actually had, rather than deducing, if I had not used this technique that I have access to, would I think game good? I don't know. But generally, if I think I'll like a game more, I'll play it in that way. Because for me, there's no point in playing a game and saying, I'd like to be mad, please. Also, and most importantly probably, this is just some guy's thoughts on video games. So I just ask from one gamer to another. Keep in mind that I really didn't think that many steps ahead.